Hi everyone, long time no see. So, long story short, I couldn't edit video because my computer was having issues and I got a new computer and that's what I'm editing with now. So, in this, we'll take you through our trip in through Budapest, which I thought was originally going to be two parts, but I made into one, slightly longer, just because there's a lot of footage, but not really enough, I think, for two full episodes of about, 15, 20 minutes. So, um, hope that's all right for whoever is actually watching this. But yeah, so we're back on track. We're gonna finish this and then get to the stuff in Japan and on a consistent schedule. Fingers crossed. All right, so it's 9:45, the 14th, and we're currently leaving Vienna, and we're heading to Budapest. So there's a dining car in this train. You want to look?
Maybe.
Okay, well, we can look later. Do you want something or?
No, we can look.
Hmm?
I'll just look.
Yeah. Alright, so we've now arrived in Budapest at Keleti station over here. Got in a little later than usual, but that's fine. We can't check into the hotel until 3. We had to get some Hungarian money because they don't use the euro because they're special, or they think they are. It's currently 34 degrees Celsius outside. That's 90 something Fahrenheit for others who don't use Celsius. I didn't think it was going to be that much hotter than Vienna, but it is. So maybe we'll try and find some food and go to the hotel. We booked a walking tour at 4:30. Hopefully it cools down enough by then. Otherwise it's not going to be very fun. But we have towel scarves, courtesy of Japan, and water. So I think we can make it. Yeah, we can push through. We'll try. So the first task once we got to Budapest was actually finding public transport tickets because we had seen some things in the station that looked like machines, to buy public transport. And you can see here as well, but it turned out they're just for the National Railway because the National Railway and the Public Transport Authority are different things. So took a bit of wandering around, ambling, can you say, to actually be able to find ticket machines. Um, yeah, it was a nice station, all that aside, but it did take a little bit of effort to actually, see where things are, and we did not succeed, as you see in the video here. We had found some, even there were other tourists around too looking at them thinking that, they must work. They don't. So, that's a pretty train station. So the first task once we got to Budapest, okay. The second task after getting public transport tickets, which I ended up getting on my phone just through an app because there were no ticket machines at all, was going to get some food. And we did see there was a mall about a 20-minute walk away from the station itself. So we thought, yeah, I mean, we can manage. So um, we did head over that way. Saw some interesting billboards along the way. It was a pretty decent mall. I don't know. Did you have any thoughts?
Mm, it was cool.
It was cool. Yeah. You were the hungrier one, so that was the main issue. And we did get to the food court. We found it after mistakenly going up to the second level, but yeah, we ended up just getting. I got Burger King. She got KFC. So when in doubt, American fast food. And we stopped at a Tesco British chain just to get some stuff. Yeah, don't think that would sell well in the US. We took a tram afterwards towards our hotel, and actually we ended up getting into an accident because this BMW pulled out in front of the tram and had its back axle completely destroyed. And you'll see it here.
I fell to the floor.
Yeah, you fell to the floor. I was sitting
What
down.
happened is the back
you'll see
was
my
like this,
reenactment.
and then the tram came in. So it was turning from this side. You want to think of it like this way, it's like this, and then the tram comes up.
After the tram crash, we did have to disembark from the tram and walk the rest of the way to the hotel, which was another 15-20 minutes. So that was a bit more walking than we were expecting for our first day in Budapest with, heavy backpacks.
And a penny.
Thankfully for us, our hotel was within a very reasonable distance to the metro, which is actually the second oldest metro system in the world behind London. And it was a direct shot basically to the place where we were going to have our first walking tour of Budapest, on the side which was previously known as Buda. One side was Buda, one side was Pest, and then they combined and became Budapest. So that's where we're heading here. So we arrived at the station called Deek Ferenctér, which is like, I don't know, Deacon Ferenc Square or something. And there were ticket inspectors waiting at the exit, and I was trying to find the ticket because it was confusing. It had symbols, so like a flag or a beach ball or something, which was proof of payment, but then you had a QR code, and as you can see, they just let me through, trying to find it just because it was just, the system was quite convoluted. But once we got out, it was not too long of a walk to the square where we were supposed to meet the tour guide and the other people we were going to do the tour with. Yeah. Any thoughts?
I like the tour.
The tour was cool. Yeah, you'll see some clips of it here. So it was on the eastern part of the city, and that's where most of the famous sites are. You can see sort of an approximation of the route here. That's not entirely correct because I don't remember the exact route, and I couldn't find a link to the exact walking tour online anymore. It might have been removed, changed, whatever. But it was cool. It wasn't too arduous. The city itself isn't too mountainous on the east side, but we saw some neat sights. We went down to the river, saw some tram tracks. Yeah.
Took a lot of breaks.
Yeah, there were a fair amount of breaks because it was quite hot. The tour guides knew this. Pretty much anyone who was there would know it because once you step out, it's 35 plus degrees. Along the way, we did just sharing some photos of things we took because I tried not to take too much video because the tour guide was like, be careful about sharing stuff. Yeah, the policeman. If you rub his belly, you get hungry. That's the legend. We did end up going back to St. Stephen's Cathedral later. We didn't go inside the interior building, but it looked cool. We went to the other side of the river a couple of days later on another walking tour. They had a Holocaust memorial. And they did have the Parliament building, which is beautiful, but we didn't go in because they wanted to charge like 30 euros for me. Once we were done with the walking tour, it was about time for dinner, so we set off to find a place. We had thought, since we were in Hungary, the one thing we had to get was langos, which is it looks like a pizza, but it's sort of a deep fried dough with cheese and other toppings on it. And that was where we were heading here, just to find a place with some good langos. And we did find it. Thoughts on langos?
It was really good.
They're very good, yes. If you're in Hungary, you absolutely have to get langos. There are some places outside of Hungary that have it, but not as many as we would hope. So when you're in Hungary, it's langos or go home. Alright, so good morning from the public bathhouse in Budapest. I forget the name of it. It starts with an S and a Z. It's on Metro Line 1. but it's one of the more famous ones and a top recommended tourist attraction. So we got a morning ticket to just go around and enjoy the baths, as Hungarians like to do. Yesterday was nice too. We went on a walking tour of Budapest, tipped the guide. It was interesting. So yeah, we forgot to do an update then. So we're here in the locker room now. Soon we'll go in there. So we don't want to be filming too much in there, right? So yes, you have anything to add?
No.
No. Okay. Well, then we'll. So here are just a few photos of the bath facility, which was extravagant. Alright, so we're now in the Budapest metro. We just finished our time at the spa. It was pretty nice, right? Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, they had some warm pools, cool pools, outdoor pools, some saunas, which Linn wasn't interested in. They had a beer spa, but it was €35 extra, so skip that. But yeah, it was nice just to relax, sit out in the sun. If you do go to them, definitely go in the morning because it opens at 8 and it gets quite crowded.
And bring a towel.
And bring a towel and
Bring slippers.
and slippers and a bathing cap.
towel.
Yeah, if you're going to go in the main pool, because if you don't, they're going to charge you a lot for those items. So yeah.
But that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah, that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping you forget something because all I brought was this for a towel, and this is just a towel scarf. But luckily, if you just sit out in the sun and dry off, then, you know, you're good. But a lot, 30, 45 minutes afterwards. All right, well, our train's coming. So we'll head back to the hotel and then get something to eat, I guess. So after a morning at the baths, we needed some food, and we thought the best place to find that was this place called the Central Market Hall. You know, it's sort of a, just a open air market where you have people selling vegetables, foods, preserves, a lot of souvenirs as well. Yeah, we ended up just walking around there for a bit, seeing what was in there. It was also a nice respite from the heat. It's a pretty photogenic place as well. So, what did you get there exactly? Again?
Goulash.
Goulash, yeah, that's a very typical Hungarian dish. I don't remember what I got there. I feel like I got langos again.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I got langos again because, when in Hungary, you eat langos. That's just how it is. It was a cool place.
Damn. Oh my god.
Following our lunch break at the Central Market Hall, we did wander around a bit more. We went to some places inside, but it was also very hot, so Linn decided to go back to the hotel, and then I decided to just go to another supermarket because, as you probably know by now, I like visiting supermarkets in other countries. It's just a unique window into other cultures, I suppose. So I took the tram down there, enjoyed that, and yeah, the tram line down there, which I did upload a separate video for, tram line number 2. Do take a look at it. It's only about 18 minutes. It's a very pretty tram route. So we have a preview. Alright, so it's currently just afternoon on the 16th, so it's our last day in Budapest. We did have to check out of our hotel, but they let us keep our luggage there until we have to go tonight, where we're taking a night train to Ljubljana. So that'll be fun. We just had some lunch at a falafel bar. It was pretty cheap, affordable. So it's just something to keep us full. We're going to do a tour of the Castle District on the other side of the river at 2:30. The same kind of tour we did a couple of days ago, but in a different area. So now we're gonna walk around the Jewish quarter, which is sort of around here. The big synagogue's down there. We're not gonna go in it because it's too expensive. It's like 30 euros per person, so we'll pass. Any comments, thoughts?
Too hot.
Too hot, yes. It's when I checked the weather last, it said it's 34 degrees, feels like 38. So it's like what? Yeah, again 90 plus degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty bad heat wave in southeastern Europe. At least we're spared from 40 plus, but it's cloudy now, which helps. But yeah. We'll try and stay hydrated, stay out of the sun whenever possible. But now we'll do a little tour. You ready? Alright, signing off for now. Next time we'll be on the night train, probably. So this is a look at the Jewish quarter here. There were some parts that were pretty characteristically Jewish and Jewish restaurants and kosher restaurants and all that. Other than that, it looked like a pretty normal part of the city. There were a few synagogues here and there, like this one here, the Delani Street Synagogue, I believe. Quite pretty. Didn't go in because, as I said, a little expensive. But we did get a chance to just walk around, get a feel for the area. And was there anything that stuck out to you?
Don't remember.
There was a market there. I think a Jewish market. We went into it. Had an interesting selection, but yeah, we didn't end up eating there. So it was mainly just a chance to saunter about. And
So this is a mostly vegetarian restaurant because they're not allowed to serve meat if they have cheese, but they can serve fish. That's cool. Fish and chips. Salat. Merak Gulash. They're goulash. Schnitzel. You think so? Or you're just bitter about that one you got?
having finished our time in the Jewish quarter, it was now time to head to our second walking tour, which was on the western side of the city, on the other side of the river, previously called Pest, also known as the Castle District, because there are a lot of places that look like castles. It looked pretty cool, didn't it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was a cool tour, and you did get nice views because this part of the city was more on hills, so you're going up, and you did have to go back down, and going up was also a little arduous at times, but the views made it worth it, I would say. Alright, so we're in the Castle District in Budapest. It's about 3 in the afternoon. You can see the Parliament building behind us. We're on a tour right now, a little break, photo break. It's quite hot, and there are a lot of tourists. But the view is really nice. You see the Parliament building, and then over there, the rest of the city. I can see why this is popular. So, any thoughts?
It's hot.
It's hot. That's what you always think. Okay. Well, I guess that's it for now.
There's a nice breeze.
There's a nice breeze, yeah. Okay. So the walking tour continued towards the National Gallery, previously a royal palace from the Fisherman's Bastion. And along the way, there were some interesting things, some gardens, some buildings, some funny statues. I didn't get pictures of them all, and I didn't feel like they were all worth sharing. But the most important thing I feel like with the Castle District is the views, because we didn't end up going into any of the buildings. But even without that, it was still a very nice place to walk around. our walking tour concluded in front of the National Gallery, and we had to find our own way back, which was fine. We did get a little confused going down, just because the paths were sometimes hard to follow. But we made it back to the bridge over here, which we had seen previously from the other side of the river. Pedestrians are able to cross it, thankfully, so that made it easier. And after that, we decided to check out the St. Stephen's Basilica, which we had been by earlier. St. Stephen was supposedly the first king of Hungary back in the 900s or 1000 AD. Um, and the church is famous, as you'll see, for having his supposedly mummified hand in there. So we decided it was worth checking out, since it's a pretty prominent feature of the city's skyline. Yeah, always a tourist magnet, and the church inside was quite ornate, elegant. Um, Anything you remember about it?
Mm, it was pretty.
It was pretty. That was it. Yeah, and it was also a chance to just sort of sit down. As you'll see in the video, we walked around a bit, but we also took advantage of the air conditioning and just had a seat in the pews and admired the woodwork and the marble work and all the other things that came together to make it look pretty nice. So definitely worth a visit if you know you're into that kind of thing in Budapest. But this was also, as I mentioned earlier in the video, we were going, this was sort of the last real thing we were doing in Budapest, because we had a train to catch, a night train later from a different station, a different part of the city. So following this, it would be, we would go get dinner, and then we would head to the train station and take the night train towards Ljubljana in Slovenia for the next part of our journey. So, but this was a nice break in the interim, just something good. Yeah, you can see there. That's the place where they have his hand, supposedly. And following that, we decided to check out this vegan place, which specialized in pizza, and I was quite impressed.
It was really good.
Yeah, it was really good for vegan pizza, because you always think, oh, if it's vegan, then they must be sacrificing something on taste or texture or whatever, but no. And yeah, we let the guy there know too, like, well done, Madal food. So that concludes our time in Budapest, a total of about 2.5 days or so, including, well, really 2 full days, because we were taking the night train. So that was to our advantage. Any final things you'd like to share about Budapest?
Mm, I can recommend it as a traveling destination.
Yeah, it's a cool place. It for me, there's just political hangups, because I put in there, screw Viktor Orban, the prime minister, because he's, if you're not a nationalist, you realize he's corrupt as hell. But yeah, aside from that, it's a lovely place. So in the next episode, we will go to Slovenia, to first Ljubljana, and then Lake Bled, and then, yeah, Nova Gorizia near the border with Italy, so on and so forth. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for waiting. Apologies for the delay. Things will come more often now. So yeah, we'll try.
Bye bye.